Yo, what's up, guys? MMA Prediction Guru here, and we're back for another big week here. We're going to have 3 events this week with the Dana White Contender Series, the Bellator coming up on Friday, and obviously the UFC on Saturday. So really excited for that, and we're going to get it kicked off here with the first Dana White Contender Series. I'm going to give you guys kind of a full betting perspective, all the fights on the card, what I think in terms of if you should bet, if you should pass on the fight. And I will say next week I do want to try to get this out a little bit earlier because the lines fluctuate quite a bit, and there was a lot of crazy opening lines on this card that got changed really quickly. So it is kind of you need to be opportunistic here and catch that opening line if it's a little bit crazy. But they do have low limits. It's for Dana White Contender Series, but still though it's I believe that they opened up here, like for the main event, for instance, they opened up Dustin Jacoby at plus 240 and Tyler Flores at minus 300. And now Jacoby is at minus 265 and Flores is at plus 205. So that line almost completely flipped the other way. And looking at the fight, I got to agree. I mean, I feel like Jacoby, if you remember the name Dustin Jacoby, it's because he's fought in the UFC before. He fought in Bellator. He's fought in Glory. He's fought some of the best kickboxers, strikers in the world, man. I mean, he's beaten guys like Carl Roberson that are in the UFC, knocked them out in kickboxing matches. He's been in kickboxing rings with guys like Simon Marcus, if you knew who that is. He's one of the, best kickboxers in, history. And there's going to be a huge skill difference on the feet here between Flores and Jacoby. Flores, I'm not a big fan of this guy. I don't really like his striking very much. I think that it's just very wild. It's to close the distance, and his wrestling just looks mediocre to me. He's a guy that trains over there at Team Elevation, so he's a bigger guy for the division as well, and he has good cardio. He's a pressure wrestler, so he tends to break a lot of these guys. Eventually, he'll take their back and you'll choke him out, and he is strong from the back position. But Dustin Jacoby, he hasn't fought MMA very much recently, but his competition level in terms of even fighting grapplers as well is just much, much higher. He's fought guys like King Mola Law, John Salter. He's fought against David Branch as well. So he's been in there with guys that are black belts, that are very good wrestlers. And he's been able to stand up from bottom against guys like King Mo. And in his fight with Cody East, I will say, East is a heavyweight. He wasn't the fastest guy, wasn't the most athletic guy, but Jacoby was impressive with his straight punches, with his jab, with his low kicks, was very economical, really beat up Cody East pretty good, and defended the takedowns very well also. He has good footwork. When Flores starts shooting, I think he's going to be coming in there with the knees, with the uppercuts. So I just feel like Jacoby is probably going to get a finish, a knockout here over 3 rounds. But in terms of gambling here, I wouldn't advise betting on this fight solely because Jacoby, he hasn't been very active in MMA. He's an older guy. Flores does have a really good gas tank, so if Jacoby maybe beats up on him early on, can't finish him, there's potential for Flores to get a late finish or, come back and win the fight. So I would just say pass in general because I'm not a big fan of Ty Flores. So due to that, I don't think the number is good enough to justify betting on Dustin Jacoby either, unless you want to put him in a parlay or something. But I'm going to give you guys a different parlay. I'm not going to bet on Dustin Jacoby, but I do think it's kind of, you either bet on the favorite Jacoby if you think there's value, or you pass, because I don't really see much in Ty Flores there. So that's going to be my opinion on the main event for this card. With this co-main event here next, we have Demante Robinson and Kenny Cross. The line right now is Cross minus 240, Robinson plus 180. Pretty much. There's some fluctuation a little bit over some books, but basically that's what the line is. And this is going to be a grappler versus striker fight. Kenny Cross, athletic guy, throws a lot of, cool techniques, kicks, spinning attacks, jumping attacks. He has good distance control and pretty good, 1-2s down the middle, sharp punches where he hurts guys with his punches. He's able to counter and really put guys on Queer Street, and he's beaten some decent fighters. Like he defeated Robert Hale, who's a pretty good up-and-coming prospect on the regional scene. He's been in there with another guy recently that was 13-4, I believe. And Cross, he's a good striker. He's pretty good, but I don't like his grappling, man. He gets taken down very easily. He gives his back. He's easily submitted, in my opinion. and he's facing a guy that's a wrestler in Demante Robinson. The issue with Robinson is he is taking this fight on short notice, and while he's a wrestler, and he's actually a pretty good wrestler, I actually feel like he probably will get a couple takedowns in this fight. He doesn't have good top control. He doesn't really have great jiu-jitsu. He's just kind of a generic wrestler. So I feel like what's going to happen here is Cross, even though he does get taken down fairly easily, and I feel like he can be submitted because he does give his back, he is fairly good in the scrambles. Has the ability to stand back up to his feet. And I think that in this fight, he's going to be able to do that here. I think he's going to be able to maybe get taken down a couple times early, but continue to get back up. I think Robinson will either get submitted or he'll get tired. I mean, we've seen Robinson submitted off his back by guys like Devonte Smith, who are currently in the UFC. And, I mean, his competition level is very low other than that in terms of his wins as well. If you're getting submitted by Devonte Smith in top position, that's not a good look, man. I feel like Cross, I mean, he's just beaten the better guys. He's fought the better competition. And I think he's going to be able to go in there and probably get a finish at some point after Robinson gets a little bit tired. But this is a fight that I would stay away from as well, man, because Robinson could take the back and get a finish. I think this is probably the closest fight on the card, in my opinion. So I would pass on this totally in terms of betting. But that's just my opinion here on this fight. I might have spoke too soon on that one. This one's probably actually the closest fight on the card here coming up with Mikey Gonzalez and Uros Medic. Gonzalez right now is coming in at plus 125. They got Medic at minus 155. And this is going to be a fun fight probably. It's a striker's fight. Both these guys like to keep it on the feet, keep the range, throw a lot of kicks. Medic looks like he's probably the more athletic guy. He's going to be a lot younger. And he also, I believe, probably has the better striking. He closes the distance a little better. He has better hands for sure. But Mikey, you have to respect Mikey's striking as well. He has that hook kick to the face. Kind of has a Wonder Boy type style to him. Keeps the distance well. Picks and pulls at you. And the difference in this fight, I believe, is when I'm looking at Medic's grappling, man, it's horrendous. I mean, he gets taken down by guys that have 0 wins. He's out there on that Alaskan regional scene, and we've seen that regional scene, how they perform on the Dana White Contender Series, man, and it's not good. I mean, not that many guys there compete very well. They just don't have a high level of competition down there in Alaska, and they kind of get exposed when they come up over here. But, man, I mean, like I said, his grappling is just non-existent. It looks like he doesn't know how to defend a takedown against the cage. He gets taken down very easily against low-level guys. I have seen him hit some sweeps, things like that, but if he gets taken down in the UFC, he's going to lose very quickly. I don't think either of these guys are necessarily UFC level. Mikey is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so can we trust Mikey to go in there and go for takedowns? I don't know about that, but I mean, because I think the fight is close on the feet, I think, you know, Mikey probably is the tougher guy. I mean, I feel like he's like a pretty tough, durable street guy. He obviously is better on the ground, so I'm just going to go with Mikey here, but I think this is a very close 50-50 fight. I think Mikey has the path to victory if he wants to try to get it to the ground, get the submission. He is a pretty solid brown belt. He competes in jiu-jitsu competitions. But if it stays on the feed and they just exchange, could be either guy's fight. So I'm just going to take the underdog here, take Mikey. At plus 125, I would like to have a little bit better odds on that. But I don't think it's the worst play in the world to bet on Mikey here. I wouldn't bet on Medic as a favorite. I just feel like whoever's the underdog in this fight has the value. So I'm going to be on Mikey here. And we have a good one here on the second fight of the night. We have Jerome Rivera coming in. He's a minus 250. He's facing Luis Rodriguez coming in at plus 190. And this is a good fight. Like I said, it's an interesting fight. It's kind of a grappler versus striker match, but I wouldn't say necessarily because I do think Rivera can mix it up very well. The thing with Luis Rodriguez, he's had all 11 of his fights in Mexico. So this is going to be his first time traveling out of Mexico, coming to the United States, fighting in the UFC. It's going to be a big, big jump for him. And he's fought very low-level competition, not very good fighters. So I definitely feel like Jerome Rivera, who's fought in LFA, he's fought guys that are in the UFC currently like Brandon Royval. He's definitely tested himself much more. He's fought the better guys here. But I think on the feet, Rodriguez is a live dog because he looks athletic. He's a young kid. He's only 20 years old, so obviously he's going to be getting a lot better every time he's out there. And he can move. He has a really nice jab. He'll throw a jab to a low kick. His low kick is nasty, man. He whips it. He throws it hard. He throws nice combinations when he can get you backed up against the cage. But, Rodriguez, it looks like he's one-dimensional, man. Doesn't have grappling. Doesn't look good in the clinch. He could scramble a little bit. He's athletic, but doesn't have much technique. Rivera, he's the all-rounder. He's a solid guy. I mean, Rivera, decent striking, high guard, walks forward, straight punches, decent kicks. I think Rodriguez is more dynamic on the feet, but I think that Rivera with the forward pressure is kind of going to shut down a lot of Rodriguez's flashy style in his game with the striking. Rivera is also very good in the clinch with the Muay Thai, with the elbows, with the knees. Dynamic submission game, good wrestling. So he's an all-rounder. He's a solid guy who's tested himself. He's continuously got better throughout his career. He's confident right now. And I just feel like he's further ahead. This Rodriguez, he's a 20-year-old kid. He's had all his fights in Mexico. He's a good prospect, but I think Rivera is a lot further ahead. I think at minus 250, that's a good line. I feel like he could even be lined a lot higher than that. So I feel like Rivera is a good play. I think he'll probably get it done inside the distance via submission. So if they do release props for this fight, I will go over that at the end, what props I think are pretty good. But I'm not 100% sure they are going to release props on this card. But for me, I feel like Rivera is a good parlay piece. He was open at minus 115, which that would have been a really awesome number to get. But like I said, I think he's a good parlay piece. I'm going to put him in a parlay myself. And I think Rivera should definitely get it done there. I just think he has too much experience. He's too solid everywhere, too well-rounded. And he's a bad style matchup for Rodriguez with the forward pressure. So I think Rivera is a pretty fairly good play there. And lastly here, we got the fight that kicks off the card. Jordan Levitt taking on Jose Luke Flores. This is the fight I'm probably most looking forward to. I'm really excited for this bout right here. And it's a good fight. I mean, Flores, he's 9-1. He's fought in the Contender Series already before. And he is going to be the underdog coming in here, though, against the undefeated Jordan Levitt. They have Levitt line minus 250. Flores is coming in at plus 190. Flores, he went in there, fought Matt Frevola, took the loss there. It was a good fight, though. He hurt Frevola with some body shots, showed some stuff. And when you look at Flores, he's a pretty well-rounded guy, I would say. He can do it all. He likes to mix it up. His striking, he has good kicks. I'll say that. He has good kicks to the body. He has good front knees up the middle to the body. Really targets the body well. He hurts you to the body. And he likes to throw straight punches to the head. Sometimes he'll go up with head kicks, but his boxing isn't very good. When you pressure him, he's a very hittable guy as well. So his striking isn't the best, but I do believe it's probably going to be a little bit better than Jordan's, who's primarily a grappler. Jordan Levitt, I mean, he is a guy that is a new school grappler. He doesn't really care about position. He'll just accept bottom position. He's a really good scrambler. He likes to get in those leg entanglements, use leg locks, knee bars, heel hooks, try to catch you in the submission or use it to sweep. Just continuously scramble, try to wear on your gas tank. He's really good at taking the back. When he takes the back, he'll attack arm bars, he'll attack Kimuras, he'll try to go for, rear naked chokes, and he's just very dynamic with the submission game. Really good triangles, really good arm bars off of his back. He's just constantly creating scrambles, constantly moving, constantly forcing grappling, and it's hard to deal with because, like I said, he'll accept bottom position. And a guy like Flores, who likes to mix it up and likes to go to the ground, I think this is a bad matchup for him because Flores, I think, is going to engage in that scramble fest with Jordan. And when you see Flores when he fought Matt Frevola, for instance, he is decent on the ground on top, but he gasses out in, these long grappling scrambles, and his wrestling isn't the best. And when he gets put on his back, he's not very good. He gives his back. He gives up dominant positions. I think he got very, very tired, like I said, when he was grappling with Matt Frevola. And I don't think Matt Frevola is anywhere near the level on the mat of Jordan. So I just feel like Jordan is definitely going to find a submission here in the first or the second round. He's going to be my most confident pick on the card here. I just feel like he's going to be able to get it done here inside the distance. I'm confident he's going to get it done. I don't think that Flores has the striking to take out a guy like Jordan. I think Jordan will be able to get it to the ground, get Flores tired, and find the submission. So definitely going with Jordan Levitt. He's my most confident pick. At minus 250, I am going to parlay him and Rivera, which if you do that, it's essentially even odds. I think you get $96 back for 100. So I really like that parlay. I think we're going to cash on that. I would be pretty surprised if that parlay didn't cash, actually. So unless Rodriguez is improving vastly, is a lot better showing up on the fight than he was on tape, I think we're going to hit this parlay. Like I said, I'm going to run through a couple potential props here, even though I'm not sure they're going to give them out, and over-unders, I'll say. With Demante, Robinson, Kenny Cross, I feel like a good prop would be the fight to end in the first round. I think that Kenny Cross, super aggressive first-round finisher. I think he's going to be going in there trying to take Robinson's head off. And Robinson, if he can take the back and get a submission, I think it's going to be early on in the fight. So I think that one could definitely be a first-round finish. I think when you look at Medic and Mikey Gonzalez, I don't see that fight going the distance. Both those guys are finishers. When they hurt someone, they take them out. I think one of them is going to take each other out. Like I said, Jerome Rivera, I think he's going to be able to pressure. And maybe it'll be a late finish or a decision. But I'm going to go with the late finish here for Jerome Rivera. So maybe in the later rounds, if you want to think about, sprinkling him for the finish or just inside the distance, I believe that fight probably won't go 3 rounds. Jordan Levitt and Jose Flores, I think that Levitt is going to find a submission. So if you can find a submission prop for Jordan Levitt and it's close to plus money or it is plus money, I think that. And then lastly with Jordan Levitt here, like I said, man, I just don't see him not getting a submission. I would be very surprised if this fight didn't end with Levitt getting a submission. So if you can find a prop for Levitt getting a submission, plus money, something like that, that's a hell of a number. I would bet on that right away. And I'm actually looking here, and I do see that they have just released the fight doesn't go to decision prop here. So I'll run through these here right quick. With Demante Robinson and Kenny Cross, fight doesn't go to decision minus 365. Fight goes to decision plus 255. I mean, that's correct. I don't see that fight going to decision. I think that one of those guys are definitely going to get a finish. Like I said, I think it could probably even be in the first round. So I agree with that line there. Kind of unplayable though. And then when you have Medic versus Mikey Gonzalez, minus 285, fight doesn't go to decision, plus 205, fight goes to decision. That's another pass for me, even though I don't think it's going to go to decision. Minus 285, just a little bit too steep. This one I do like here. Jerome Rivera, Luis Rodriguez, fight doesn't go to decision, minus 185. I definitely don't see that fight going to decision. I think that it's going to get finished one way or the other, and I think it's going to be Jerome Rivera getting a late finish. So, I think that's a good line to bet on as well. Levitt, minus 215, fight doesn't go to decision, plus 260 or plus 165 that it does go to decision. I like that line as well. I think that fight's going to get finished 100%, so I like that line as well there. And then for the last one, Dustin Jacoby, minus fight doesn't go to decision, minus 305, fight goes to decision, plus 225. I mean, I don't see any of these fights going to decision, to be honest with you guys. So I agree with all those lines. If I had to, parlay two of those as well, or pick 2 to play, I would pick probably the minus 185 fight doesn't go to decision for Rivera straight. And maybe, if you didn't want to parlay them 2 as winners, wanted to get a little bit more value, you could just parlay the fight doesn't go to decision on both of those. But those are going to be my plays for this week. My most confident pick, Jordan Levitt. The parlay is going to be Jerome Rivera and Jordan Levitt. Gave you guys a little bit of a breakdown on everything else I thought. So hope you enjoyed the video. It was powered by OddsHQ, odds.com. Like always, make sure to check out the website, comment on the YouTube channel, check out all the content, like, subscribe, and yeah, man, we couldn't be doing any of this without OddsHQ. So make sure to show them some love and, show them that we have support over here. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and hopefully we can make some money on a Tuesday.